Good morning. I'm Ron Holdaway, licensed Unity teacher and spiritual leader here at Unity Spiritual Center of Panama City. Welcome. It's great to see everybody with us. And if you're joining us later after we've recorded this service, we welcome you as well. It's such a blessing to see your smiling faces, those that I can see now from this Zoom sharing. And we're just humbled and blessed that you're here with us. So we've got a full service outline today, and I want to get started by just acknowledging that we're still in this pandemic. We're in this pandemic in the throes of social unrest, and we just send our prayers of loving and energy out to everyone that's involved. So, and many people are in pain. So the service was going to continue about that. Melissa just shared. We'll share a very good message from a few Unity ministers, and I've got a few photos that we'll share that we can bring all this together. So we come together to raise our consciousness, our awareness of oneness to support all people. So today, as far as an agenda of what we do today in our service, we'll come together, we'll pray, we'll be grateful. We discuss a few current activities. We're going to play a song. We'll have a daily word and a song, and again, some photos that represent the good part about what we're going through. A song by Karen Drucker called There's Only Love. We'll have a meditation, and then Melissa's going to give the talk today. The title is A 4-Step Process to Fearless Living, and I think she's got some other things she's definitely going to add to that. And then we'll close with a prayer of protection. So whether you're a member of our spiritual community, a frequent attendee, or a visitor, we welcome you. I'm honored you've taken this time to spend some time with us. Everyone is welcome here at our center and Unity in general, for we affirm that God loves everyone. There's no exceptions. How could it be any other way? The same energy, the same life energy flows through each of us, regardless of our race, gender, religion, or sexual orientation. So I thought that was a very appropriate to think that we've been saying this. We say this every Sunday. The same life energy flows through each of us. And so whatever name you call God, you used it to call God, whether it's God's spirit, breath, allness, ground of being. We know that God, by any name in Unity, leaves no one out. And we're grateful for all of that and for that knowledge of where we live. So let's start by praying. Let's just close our eyes for a minute and have a moment of prayer. And as we start and we recognize there's only one life, there's one love, that life is God, that life is my life now. We pause in this now moment to remember and to awaken to the divine presence within us. And from our CEO at Unity Worldwide Headquarters, Jim Blake, he sends this message. We find ourselves in the midst of seeming chaos everywhere we look. While in the throes of the largest pandemic in a century, we are now seeing unprecedented nationwide social unrest. These are not small issues we're trying to navigate. We are taking on the safety, health, and well-being of our families and friends, and while at the same time exposing and overturning centuries of bias, privilege, and racism that have long been screaming to be acknowledged and addressed. We need profound change that preserves and protects the human rights of every individual in this country. It's a lot to process individually and collectively. In the midst of such diversity, at every turn, it can be easy to become overwhelmed. There's tremendous pain, suffering, and injustice that must be accounted for. And yet we know in this now moment, there's a healing power, divine love that is restoring, healing, and revitalizing every cell in our body, all in our world and in this very moment. From this presence of allness of life, which is completeness, wholeness, and non-duality, we open our consciousness to know and remember our oneness. So we pray for wisdom and guidance as we ask, what can I do? What is my role for healing? No one can answer this question for us, but each one of us must answer it on our own. We know we find the answers to these questions first by going within to touch the source of our beingness, our ground of being. May we always be open, humble, and resolute to promote, affirm, and voice equal justice and treatment for all. So we continue to pray from this place of oneness and love for the first responders, the sick, the nurses, the doctors, first responders, financially challenged, and those in pain from this social unrest. We know there's anxiety and fear in all, and we can find relief and peace as we go within. We're grateful for this awareness of the one presence and one power in our lives, this oneness and love. May we always remember that we can find release by going inward. For this and all we're unfolding in consciousness to be, to live life fully and to love wastefully, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. So Unity teaches spiritual principles and practices that can be applied to any faith, tradition, or belief system. We teach practical metaphysics, which is about developing and supporting the business of fully expressing our divine nature. We learn our egos must surrender to the divine essence within us and then awaken to this inner wisdom. I've been reading several weeks now the definition that I got from Reverend Jim Rosemurky, who describes the hearts in unity. And it goes like this. He calls it the creed of our heart, creed of our heart. Our religion is oneness. Our God is love. Our race is human. So if you're new to Unity or just coming in, or you're watching this for the first time, many of us on this in this service will affirm that applying these principles and practices will change your life. If you're new to Unity or need a refresher, you can go to our website to learn about our core principles and beliefs, unityofpanelcity.org. So as we continue in our service, let's take a pause for a few announcements. We announce every service that you can join us. Besides this Zoom call on Sunday mornings at 11, I got reminded. Thank you for the help that my email this time had some noon references still in it. So we're meeting at 11 now instead of noon. So thank you for that. So we meet at 11 o'clock on Sunday mornings. And you can also join us at 6 o'clock on Tuesday evenings for A Course of Miracles facilitated by Rose Flora. And also at 11 for a guided meditation service that I'll lead us on Thursday mornings at 11 o'clock. So join us. These are great ways to stay in touch. And we were just talking about that as we were opening the service, that even though we're still physically distancing, these Zoom calls make a difference in joining the community. I think all of you who are participating in these calls can attest to that it's really a way to stay connected with each other. So you'll be receiving the first part of the week a booklet that the board has approved again to send you a new booklet. We've done that now. I think this is the third one. This one is titled The Comfort of Prayer. This is just a way to keep us all involved in kind of sharing the same experience about during this time of isolation and quarantine. This book is devoted to prayer. The title of the book is The Comfort of Prayer. So I'm sure all of you on this call will be receiving it and others too. So if you don't receive it by any chance, let me know. If you're on this call, let me know. Or even if you're calling in and you want this booklet, let me know. And we hope this booklet will deepen your prayer practice during your times of prayer, meditation, and silence. So you'll also be receiving just the first part of the week, got a letter in the mail to affirm the results of our ballot that we did a couple weeks ago. We mailed out 42 ballots. We received 34, which is an 81% response. So that's pretty amazing. Thank you for that. And thank you very much for participating in that process. Since we didn't have our annual congregational meeting, that's the way we continued the business of the church. So Becky Fuller is our new board member. Yay, Becky. Thank you, Becky. And Chris Durham and Sheila Erg will serve on our board nominating committee. So those were affirmed through this ballot. So thank you all for your service. And I personally want to thank Chris Durham, Gene Kennerson, and Michael Grant, who just completed their 3-year term on the board. So thank you for your service and for blessing us with your time and talent. So thank you very much. The board is still discussing about reconvening in-person activities. We're talking to the temple, the leadership in the temple, and so we don't have any specifics. We're looking at how we can do this safely. That's the number one thing, to be in line with our core values of being safe, and how do we do that safely. Also, the board this year budgeted and approved a benevolence fund to assist members in our congregation if you need financial assistance. So if you have any details, any needs, or want to share those details, see me first, and then we'll go through the process to see if that's appropriate for us to share in this benevolence fund with you. And also, always please request prayer. If you have a prayer request, email or call me. You can also fill out a prayer request on our website. Go online, and you'll be directed to fill out a prayer request that goes directly to Silent Unity. Any prayer requests that I receive, that we hold that in here locally for 7 days, and then we mail them to Silent Unity where they're held in prayer for 30 days. Also, you can go online now. There's a Silent Unity digital vigil support. So you can, the room where somebody is praying constantly 24/7, 365 days, and have been doing that for years and years and years. You can become a member of that, to do that in a digital way. So sign up for that if you're willing. You commit 30 minutes at a time to be prayerful, to be honored, and you're praying for all of these prayer requests that come in through Silent Unity. That may be something you're interested in. Go to the unity.org website, and you can find out ways to do that. So I want to thank all of you who continue to bless this spiritual community with your tithes and offering. It's truly humbling, and it's I'm honored to be a part of you guys, and we're truly blessed by your giving. It allows us to keep. There are some responsibilities that we have to keep going, even though we're not physically meeting. So we appreciate your support. I'm honored, and that you follow that guidance, whatever it is from your source. We give to our source of our abundance, we know. And it's allowed us, the board, us and the board to, we recently, I think most of you know, that we sent $500 to Wheels on Meals and $500 to Food for Kids. It was a way that we felt that we wanted to have an outreach, from our, within our capability to help these important causes. So that's something that we've been able to do because of your continued support. And in addition, we regularly tithe. We split our tithe between Unity Worldwide Ministries and Silent Unity. So we've been able to do that because you've been able to continue to bless us with your support. Go to our website, unityofpanamacity.org, and hit the donate button if you'd like to give, or you can mail me a check. I've received some checks this week. We received them. I put them in the safe at the church, and you can continue to do that. So, and we're again honored by your support. So if you would, hold your hands together, and we may not have our gift right here in our hand, but Spirit knows the intent of our heart as we say our affirmation. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. Okay. We'll take a breath now. Or at least I will take a breath because I've been doing all the talking, and we'll pause for our daily word. And I'm going to share my screen here. So let me pause for just a minute so I can get that set up and share my screen so you can see this. Okay. So the affirmation, this is our affirmation for the day. As I live in peace, I bring peace to others. As I live in peace, I bring peace to others. And that's so appropriate today. And actually, it's appropriate all the time, but especially in these times. So the daily word says, peace is one of the fundamental principles making up our divinity. We use it to experience peace. Over and over, we are told that world peace begins with peace in our hearts. That's very good news. It means I can contribute to the world every day. I don't have to be a diplomat or high-ranking government official to play a role in this planet toward peace. So as we think about this peace and all the social unrest, there's good things going with this too. Here's just some images that you can see of love and peace at work. A police officer crying, a protester hugging a cop, and then a cop embracing a little boy. So there's good things. There's hundreds and hundreds of images we can find like this. So sometimes we get caught in this and we're not aware that there's a lot of good as well. There's always good. I need only to remember to choose peace in every situation. Peace is far more than refraining from physical violence. Peace is kinder thoughts and deeds. Peace is giving the benefit of the doubt. Peace is honesty and trust. Peace is even simple courtesy. Each time I see the divinity in another human being and treat that person accordingly, I contribute to peace in the world. So the affirmation you can see on your screen is, as I live in peace, I bring peace to others. And you can affirm that with me. As I live in peace, I bring peace to others. And so it is. And now, right before we started, Melissa asked me to share a YouTube from some Unity ministers. Let me go back. We'll share this YouTube. It's just a little over a minute long, and we'll share these thoughts about our times. Give me just a second here to get it up. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear this.
And we embrace our responsibility to eradicate racism. It is our divine appointment to stand with you, to see you,
to hear you,
to listen,
to be in conversation with you,
to be with your anger without judgment, to know your sacred worth,
to acknowledge my privilege,
to take responsibility,
to confront complacency,
to back my words with action, palabras con acción,
to be accountable for effecting change in my community,
to support Black-owned businesses,
to be a bender of the arc of the moral universe that bends toward justice,
to demand the end of police brutality,
to use my voice and my vote to end systemic racism,
to hold you and our country in prayer,
to be a call to action,
to be a voice for justice,
to be a voice for unity.
Very moving. Thank you, Melissa, for pointing that out. I did see that earlier.
Hello,
and
Facebook.
And wanted to share that. So thank you for bringing that up. So now, as we settle back and prepare our hearts and minds for meditation, let's listen to the words of Karen Drucker's
Family, I
Karen
have
Drucker's
decided.
song. Let me get it going right to the right place. Sorry, bear with me for just a second. I've got too many windows opened on my screen. Here we go. We'll try that again.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, a love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
There is only love. We know that to be the truth. So I invite you to rest comfortably in wherever you're sitting or resting in this day that we'll take just a few moments to rest and give ourselves a break with this silence and meditation. So again, rest comfortably in your seat and just breathe in and exhale. Breathe in and feel your whole being, your whole body rise up, and then exhale and just release. Do that again. Just inhale, lift up, hold the breath for just a second, and then just release. Exhale and release. So enjoy this peaceful moment. Just relax in this peace that we find when we go within. Continue to return to your breath. Just be at peace. Give yourself a sweet thank you for and appreciation for the time you're giving yourself in this moment to just relax and take a breath. For there's nothing to do, nowhere to be. There's nowhere to be, just relax. And as you relax, feel this energy of love that we've been singing and talking about already this morning. As it lives and moves and has being in you. So know this is the truth of your being, the truth of your essence. Breathe in, breathe out, and just relax into this feeling of love and peace. Focus your minds, your imagination into your heart space, and just feel this breath, this life of breath is coming, originating in and out of your heart space. And as you imagine this living and moving and having breathing in your heart, you can experience the awe and the wonder of the beauty around us and the beauty that you are. Again, breathe deeply into this heart space and appreciate and feel and bask in this appreciation of life and energy in all its precious moments. We know that we have work to do to change attitudes and feelings, our own attitudes and feelings. And it starts by going within. So Eric Butterworth teaches us that we must surrender to the divine essence of who we are within, and then awaken to the wisdom that we gain from being in this place, this ground of being, this sense of allness and wholeness. Breathe deep into that heart space and just relax for a few moments. Breathe deep and fully into that heart space so that you can recognize and surrender to the divine essence, your true I am. We rest in this space not so much to demonstrate this divine essence that we are, but to release it, release the imprisoned splendor that we are, that you are. So now as we rest in the silence for just a few moments, just fully relax and fully deepen that awareness of breathing in and out and from your heart. Continue breathing as you continue to relax in the silence. In the silence for just a few moments, and I'll watch the time and just relax in the silence. Continue to rest in this place of oneness and love and peace deep inside your essence of who you are. Just for another moment or two as we realize and fully realize and deepen and be grateful for this presence, this awareness. Inhale and exhale and just fully relaxing just for another moment. As we return to this time and place, we know that in the silence, in the stillness of our true nature, that we can feel this peace, and we can affirm, I am surrounded by peace. I am submerged in peace. I am immersed in peace. There is nothing but peace. Peace, deep, calm, undisturbed. Peace, deep, calm, undisturbed. So we take this feeling, this essence, the truth of who we are, of love and peace and wisdom, into our doing as we go forth to do the things that ought to be done by us right now. Take another deep breath, and as you release, you can begin to move your fingers and toes, and you can roll your neck and begin to return your attention to this time and place. And then when it's comfortable, you can open your eyes and be fully present. And say, thank you, sweet spirit. Okay. Okay, I've unmuted you, Melissa, so you're ready to.
Oh, thank you, Ron, for that beautiful meditation. Today, we are continuing our series on fearless living. And of course, this comes from the booklet, 30 Days of Fearless Living. We're still working through that. It's a little bit more than 30 days that we've been working through that, but that's okay. We need all the fearless living we can get right now. Last week, Ron led us through a message on faith as a tool and faith's role in working within to help us reveal our divine consciousness. And part of that was a call to action to deal with the systemic racism that abounds in our society today. And today's message is going to ask us to get out of our comfort zone and is also going to be a call to action. Now, when I first read this 4-step process to fearless living, I immediately recognized its value as a way to combat the fear we were facing during this pandemic and as a way to help us grow spiritually. Reading it over in light of the death and murder of George Floyd and the current Black Lives Matters protests, I realized that this is more than just a spiritual tool. This is a process that we can use in our daily lives and interactions with others, especially those in the Black community. So I want to talk about this process as 2 different ways that we can use this. One is a spiritual tool, and of course that spiritual tool helps us utilize this tool also in our daily interactions. So I want to talk about both, but I'm going to start with this process as a spiritual tool. Step 1 is to dedicate your life to God, or as I like to say, dedicate your life to good. In this step, we are asked to surrender our ego, our human attempt to control the things around us, and to find solace, to find comfort and safety in that divine consciousness that Christ sparked within. In this first step, we fully embrace that part of the allness that is within us, and we recognize our divine potential because we are creations of the divine, and we hold that spark of the divine within us. And because we affirm in unity that God is good, and we know that a piece of the allness that is God is within each and every one of us, then we can also affirm our goodness as well. And of course, this very closely aligns to Unity Principles 1 and 2. There is only one presence and one power, God the good, and human beings have a spark of divinity within them, that Christ spirit. So in step 1, we're really embracing those first 2 principles. In step 2, it's deep listening. In this step, we're asked to stop listening to our ego and to our fears and to start listening to the voice and the wisdom of the divine consciousness within. We have all the answers that we need, and we can rest in the safety and wisdom and guidance of that divine presence. All we have to do is surrender and listen. Now, this presence of love, light, hope, joy, wisdom, and comfort is always available to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. At any time, we can pause and listen, truly listen. And when we do so, we know that we are loved. We are full of light. We are expressions of hope. We are overflowing with joy. We are blanketed in that wisdom of divine consciousness. Be still and know. Be still and know. And this, of course, aligns very closely with Unity Principle 4. Prayer and meditation are our conscious connection with God. And step 3, we take on courageous action. So once we start to open the flow to divine consciousness through kind of that prayer and meditation and that going into the silence and truly listening, the next step is to act from a place of courage, to take what we know to be true, our love, light, hope, joy, wisdom, and to act upon them, to live from them, to live with them, and to give from them, knowing that there's always more love, light, hope, joy, and wisdom where they came from. There's always more. There's a infinite abundance in the divine. Now, this step requires courage, and of course, courage requires faith. Faith in that divine consciousness that we know resides in each and every one of us and in everything around us. And I would argue this call for action is really the most important step. We can know the truth, but what good does it do us if we don't live by it, if we don't put it into action? If we know that love is there, but we're not giving love, what good does that really do us? What good does this do society? And so this call to action really aligns with Unity Principle number 5. Knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. And once we've taken on these 3 steps, then we can go into step 4, which is an enlightened review. And this is really a step of reflection of our faith. As we utilize the last 3 steps and see we have surrendered, listened, and acted from that divine consciousness, we can reflect upon how this process has developed our faith and how our faith has helped us utilize this process. And then we can also reflect upon those areas where we still hold resistance and act from fear or act from our ego rather than the allness within. So this is the part of the process that also requires courage, because it's asking us to continually engage with our fears, asking us where do they originate from, and challenging the very essence of their reality. Are our fears really based in reality? And of course, if our divine consciousness is our reality, then there is no real place for fear. And as we begin to integrate this as a daily process and continue to grow and expand, to love and know love, to give light and live with light, to give joy and live joyfully, to give hope and live hopefully, then we really expand into that divine flow, right? We start to feel like our life is really connecting with the divine presence, that divine essence. So I thought to myself, how is it best to really integrate this 4-step process into our daily lives? And I would really recommend making it a daily practice, to put it in with your prayer practice. If possible, and of course, if you don't have a daily practice, maybe you make it a weekly practice. So what this might look like is to begin each morning with a centering prayer or meditation, where you connect to that divine presence within, that you pause and truly listen to what that presence has to say. What does your divine consciousness guide you to do? And ask yourself, how will I let this divine consciousness work through me today? How will I let this divine consciousness work through me today? Then as you end your prayer and meditation, you can dedicate the entire day to living from that place of inner love, light, hope, joy, and wisdom, and to put this inner guidance into practice. And of course, as your day enters into evening and sometime before bed, You could take a moment to reflect upon your day and your ability to live from that divine consciousness. Were there areas where you still resisted? Were there moments where you fell into old patterns, or were there moments where you were still fearful? And lovingly engage with yourself as you review your day. Each day you engage in this process, and how you're basically allowing that divine flow to flow through you. Know that each day, each moment that you live authentically and from within, your life is going to become better attuned to that divine flow. And of course, this process takes practice. It's not a singular thing I can do one day and it's done, right? It's a continual practice, just like our prayer and meditation are continual practices. So now I want to shift gears a little bit, and I want to talk about how we could take this same process and use it in our daily interactions with others, especially members of the Black community who are struggling amidst a 400-year system of systemic racism that continues to oppress and fail them. So how can we use this process to be allies for change? The first thing you can do, if God is good, you can dedicate your life to seeing and doing good, right? You can dedicate your life to seeing the good in others, that God essence, that divine presence in each and every individual you meet. Remind yourself that each person has that divine spark and is worthy of love. Each person is worthy of light, hope, joy, and wisdom. You can listen openly and deeply. Truly listen to the experience of good and bad, including the heartache and suffering that you go through. Now, don't eliminate someone and their pains on them, but I would encourage you to embrace your discomfort so that you can become a better ally. Try to set aside your preconceived notions of how their life really is, or how their life is, that your idea of what they're going through, and really truly listen to their reality. Because oftentimes our preconceived notions of somebody's reality is not their reality. Watch interviews, movies, and videos of Black perspectives and from Black perspectives. Read books and articles by Black authors, truly opening yourself up to listening to their reality and what they go through. Act with courage. So this is that call to action, right? This is that third step. Step up and speak out when you see injustice in the world. Be willing to stand with those who are in need of your support. Be the light that you want to see in the world. Don't leave this as a job for somebody else to do. Now, this morning I watched this video from Unity ministers speaking about their divine appointment to stand with the Black community, to see, listen, and be in conversation with the Black community. And I felt moved to say that this should be a divine appointment for each and every one of us to help lift up Black communities and stand with them as we fight to end racism. Do not leave this to our spiritual leaders, but act from that divine wellspring of love within. Bring yourself to act, not just to speak about your beliefs or what you the truth you know, but actually act from that truth. So support causes that help and lift up Black communities, and of course, you can also help by supporting Black businesses. We can take time to reflect. And it can be a difficult step, almost as difficult as the courageous action. We can reflect upon our own biases and prejudices. We all have them. And you can know that they are rooted in this same 400-year system of racism and fear, right? They're rooted in your biases, your prejudices are rooted in that same system. So ask yourself, where do your biases and prejudices originate from, and what can you do to weed them out, to lessen them? So as we conclude today's message, I want to leave you with these words from Khalil Gibran, one of my favorite poets. Love gives not but itself, and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed. for love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not that you can direct the course of love, for love directs your course. And this is really what the 4-step process is. We are connecting with the ultimate source of love, that divine presence, and allowing its love to direct our course. Namaste.
Thank you, Melissa. Namaste to you. Thank you. Here's a Zoom clap from everybody to you. Thank you. Thank you for that inspirational message. Really, really well timed, well said, and well put. Thank you. So we'll end our service today. It's already that time to end. It seems like this time goes by quicker and quicker every Sunday for me. It just while we're together. So we'll close with our prayer for protection. There's so much good stuff to be said, and I'm sure we'll have a conversation after our service today. We'll have a little time for fellowship and continue our conversations about how we can act, as Melissa so eloquently put it. So please say with me, I'm going to unmute everybody, and it seems a little, might seem a little chaotic. Well, it is a little chaotic when everybody talks at once, but we'll share in that. We'll share in that chaos for a minute. So the prayer for protection, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God holds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And we add all is well. So it is.
So it is.
God bless you, everyone. Peace and love and joy. And as we discern and seek wisdom and guidance from within. So I'm going to pause the